Hello, my name is Rick Malava, and this is a short video that I made some time ago that demonstrates one method for putting holes in a cylinder. I experimented with a lot of different ways of doing this, and this is my first attempt. This will produce a cylinder with holes in it by starting out creating a flat plane with the holes in the planar surface, and then using the bend deformer to curve it into a cylinder. So I started with an 8-sided cylinder here, and I just deleted everything but the top face. And what I'm going to do here is this will eventually be the holes in the cylinder. So what I'm going to do is add a little border edge around the hole so that it holds its sharpness. And then delete that extra face in the back. When you did the extrude, it creates another face, so we get two laminate faces. So now, starting with this ring, I'll snap the vertices up to form a square. I originally did this without audio, so you're getting both audio and the text in the bottom. I thought it was just a little clearer if I added audio to it. So now I've got one square with a circle in it, and then what I'll do is I'll snap that up, and then I want the holes to be offset, so I'm going to cut this top one in half, and then you'll see eventually here I'll shift it over so that we get the holes offset by half a hole. Boom, and then take that one and snap it back. There you go. And then eventually I'll take all of these guys and combine the geometry and then merge all the vertices together so I get a single patch. Now this is the first version I did, and I have these, if you notice, the circle has the diagonal edges that are running out around that 8-sided polygon. Eventually, when I roll this thing into a cylinder and smooth it, you'll see that it creates nice even holes, but we get some little divots. It almost looks like you've taken and punched the holes through a cylinder and it's pushed them in a little bit. So it could be a desirable effect. But I have another video on the site that is called Cutting Holes in Cylinders 2, where I go and redraw this topology so that it doesn't have those diagonals in it, and it flows both horizontally and vertically around the cylinder, and you get a much better a much smoother surface. So I've taken those initial two patches and I've just combined them or duplicated them a couple times and combined them all. And now what I'll do is just apply a nonlinear bend deformer and use a curvature of pi, which is approximately 3.141592. And all I'm doing is rotating that bend deformer to get it into position there, and I start to do the bend, and then hopefully I'll bring, yeah, there we go. Go and you can see I just type a curvature in directly for pi, and you see that it bends that long patch into a cylinder shape. Now I just have to combine the verts at the ends. And then now I can take this section of cylinder with the holes in it. You see they're nice and even and smooth. And I can, and you could just sort of catch a glimpse of it with the shading there, that there is some little divots that are occurring due to the diagonal edges in the way that the topology here is built. But what I'll do is now I can just duplicate this multiple times to create a cylinder as long as I want. And all I do is I just keep mirroring it. Run one row of faces, and then mirror the whole thing over, and each time it doubles the length of the cylinder. And there you go. Now we just have to add some thickness to it. just moved it all to the centered the pivot on the object and then moved the object to the origin. It's the center of the object to the origin. And now we'll just do an extrude. And I'm doing this extrude with smoothing turned on, so it's not as easy to see, but I'm just doing a very small 1/100th of an inch, 1/100th of a centimeter extrude there, since the default units are centimeters, and I just typed in 0.01 for the local X extrusion. Oh, it looks like I did 0.02. I'm sorry. I should read my own stuff there. And then I did another extrude. So it's 0.02, then a 0.2, a 2/10ths of a centimeter extrude, and then another 2/100ths of a centimeter extrude, so that we get the tight edges around the cylinder. It circles, and you can see very slight indentations, but that could be a desirable effect if you want this to look like the holes were punched into the cylinder rather than drilled into the cylinder without denting it. And I once again, on this site, I have another tutorial where I go through another method. It's very similar. We start out with a plane with holes cut in it, but we just change the topology a little bit so that we don't have those diagonal edges. The edges are running horizontally and vertically down the length and diameter of the tube, and the result is a much smoother cylinder with holes cut in it. And then once you have this technique down, you can cut any shape you want into a cylinder. Just start out with a plane, and then bend it around into a cylinder. So all I'm doing here is setting up some render settings, global render settings, and we'll do a render of it. And it looks like this render is going to be not smooth. And then eventually I think I turn on contours and we do another render of it smooth. Then you can pick up a little bit of the, like I said, because of those diagonal edges in the topology, when it's smooth you get a little bit of divoting, but it's not extreme. It's actually, like I said, in certain situations you might want to have that slight divoting in there. And it looks like I don't do a contour render in this one. But anyway, I hope this helped you out with putting holes in cylinders, or another way to think about putting holes in cylinders. Thanks a lot. This has been Rick Malava.